Drone Solutions Monday Night Live special. FPV. Yeah, we're going to talk about FPV. For those of you who haven't seen my latest video that I uploaded a couple hours ago, I flew my Tiny Hawk 2 around my apartment. Only this time I did a 2 camera shoot, and I got to use my GoPro 5 and my GoPro 3. So let's welcome our first panelist to the stage, all the way from Melbourne, Florida, Mitch, old guy and a drone.
Hi, Art.
Hey, Mitch, welcome.
The echoes, a little quiet. The echoes of that intro are still reverberating around my stream. Fortunately, well, this is a surprise. This is a surprise tonight. And
Yeah, Lloyd couldn't do a show tonight. I guess he had a busy day with the doc. So, and plus, this helps me get a few more watch hours too. I'm like really close to that magic 4K.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, I'm trying to. Actually, I don't need. I was going to get the stream up on my TV out here because I just got the notification on my cell phone that. But it seems like my Google uh, Google Chromecast thing needs to be rebooted. So we'll live.
Okay.
Without that. I can still, however, get the chat on here.
Okay, wonderful. I want to say hello to Glenn Thunderbird 6, all the way from down under. Welcome, welcome. And then we have David, Arizona Drone Dude. Welcome, welcome. And Rick Albert. I hope he's enjoying his first full day home from the hospital. And then we have Bill, Coast Coast Drones, and Mana FPV. Welcome, welcome. And of course, Steve Mack.
Yes, sir. Hi, guys. How you doing? Everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
So who are you expecting at this party tonight, Art? You expecting?
Well, I did the usual. I did the mass email blast of that I posted the link, and hopefully a few more people will jump in. Maybe Mel might jump in, or who knows? We might get a surprise guest, maybe.
Wow.
Hey, Kenny Cardoso Media, welcome to the show. Bob Casey.
Hi, Bob. How you doing? Good to see you. Kenny, good to see you. AZ Drone Dude, how are you?
And Jeff is in the chat.
Oh, Jeff.
And congratulations on your new job.
Oh, Jeff got a new job. What was it?
Let me see. I just saw it. I think it was with I forgot. Huh. But yeah. Oh, and Jim, Help at Home Jim is here. And Mike, Night Train, welcome, welcome.
Wow.
All right, cool. So you got to see the video that I just uploaded today. So
yeah, I was there. I was there for the live premiere. You know what? One of two things, Art. Either I really like your stuff, so I'm always there, or I have no life, and I just need something to do.
Well, at least now in that video, you actually got to see how I get ready to fly FPV. It's a little different than the other.
I got to tell you, Art, my hat's off to you, young man, for.
Thank you, sir.
For dealing with what you have to deal with and still having the energy and the gumption to do these kind of things. So
Right. Yep. And it's nice that I have a little grabber to snag that drone when it gets stuck somewhere.
it was funny when you first said I need to go get the grabber.
Yeah.
I thought you said I need to go to the crapper. Seriously.
Then you would have seen the chair a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the GoPro 5 did a pretty nice job. It looked like the picture is a little more crisper than the the Hero 3.
Yeah, they both look good. Now you don't have a DVR in those goggles, huh?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's too bad because that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yep. So that might be my next purchase. Is I'll get a pair of goggles with a DVR in it.
Well, you did a pretty good job of altitude control.
Right.
You really were keeping it right around most of the time around the center of the room. You weren't banging
Right.
it off the ceiling too much. So
Mm-hmm.
just practice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And I want to say hello to Lon Denard and JSK Enterprise.
All right, guys. Yeah, I was just I saw it was coming up on 8 o'clock here. I said, well, let me tune in and see what Lloyd is up to. What happened to Lloyd? Is everything all right?
Yes, I think he had a long day at the doctor's because it was both Lloyd and Judy that were seeing the doctor today.
Oh my God.
So
I'm
yeah, he said yesterday or last night that he might not do a show tonight. So, and I think it was a hour before the show. I just checked and he said no show tonight, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought, oh, this opens up a window for me to do a show and pick up some watch hours. And I want to say hello to Andrew. Welcome to the show.
You'll have to pardon the side of my head. I've got the phone on a tripod setting up on the armrest of this couch, so I don't have to hold it up.
Oh yeah.
If I'm looking at the TV in front of me, this is how I'm looking. So you'll see the side of my head. If I'm reading the
Right.
chat, then I'm really looking over this way. So not ignoring you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally understand, Steve Mack. There's my email address. If you want to send me something like a drone, goggles.
Hi, Andrew. How you doing?
Ron, I sent you a link. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the private message, and we'll get you on here.
Yeah, and if everybody out there's got a cigar, light them up.
Yeah, there you go.
Join me, and we'll have a little cigar. All I need is a little bit of port wine and be in business. Well, I don't know if I've got all that much to talk about tonight, Art, because
The weather's not that good.
no, it was a terrible day today. It was windy, 15, 20 miles an hour, rained on and off. Probably be the same tomorrow. I was really hoping to fly this morning, but I was
Darn.
disappointed when I got up. But don't feel sorry for me. I get plenty of flying in.
All right. I'm just kind of sending out some links to people here. So,
Hell, just do like Adrian does or some of the other guys. Just throw the link in the chat. Whoever wants to come in can come in.
Hey, I just might do that. Okay.
That's always good for an impromptu thing. You know, you're in charge. If somebody comes in that you don't want, you don't have to put them in. See?
Now that's true. That's true. Uh,
We had a nice little time last night on my show.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Had a little surprise visit from Ken Herron in the beginning.
Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah. That was cool. Ron, I sent you a link, so check your email or your Facebook. And Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk, welcome to the show. Uh, I'm not a smoker, Andrew.
Yeah, you all should join me in a cigar.
Yeah.
Not Mike and Night Train said Affleck. He evidently saw Ken Herron on the show last night. Mel is in the house. Hey, Mel, how you doing?
Hey, Mel. Yeah. Lloyd did let me know that he's not going on tonight. So Mel, I sent you a link if you want to pop in and be part of this. And and don't forget, in the top of next hour, we got Drone Zone. What's the name of Drone Nation? That's right, Ron's.
Oh, that's right. He comes on after at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Formerly known as Xeno Nation.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, today it's been cool today. We've been in the low 70s and it was right about around freezing when I got up this morning.
Wow.
A little tiny bit of frost, not much.
Yeah, well, we don't have anything like that down here. Although
Yeah.
the high today was only in the kind of low 80s.
Oh,
But
man.
it is the middle of October after all. So
Yep, that's true. And you know that fire I've been talking about?
yeah.
Now it's up to 205,000 acres.
Why can't what is it just that dry and windy that they can't get a handle on it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're having a really bad drought this year. And plus we had a beetle kill about 30 years ago, and Enviros won't let us go in and clear cut it out. So we got all that dead wood that just perfect tinder.
Oh, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Michael Blade, welcome to the show. Yep. And then we had a couple smaller fires pop up just north of Boulder, Colorado, that is sadly taken out a few homes up there.
Back in '98, down here in Florida, we had fires like you had.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was really something, and most of the major roads were closed. The interstates were all closed. It went on for quite a while. Since that fire, that fire, of course, consumed a lot of the fuel,
Right.
which made it easier to get a handle on future fires. But they did start an aggressive program of clear cutting, and we haven't had that
Right.
kind of a problem since.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's welcome to the show Ron Lockwood with Victor, Elvis, and Matthew.
Thanks, folks.
How you doing, Ron?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing all right here. Colorado is just burning up like crazy.
You starting more fires down there, Art?
Yeah, the Cameron Peak fire is now at 205,000 acres.
You still got them burning down there.
Yep. It's
Wow.
about 60% contained.
Wow.
Yep.
I haven't heard much on the ones in California lately.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were still going down in Denver.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I've been so out of touch lately. I've been so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the weather up there?
The last couple of days, it's been kind of chilly. We got some snow. What day's today? Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Saturday night into Sunday and part of Sunday, and then part of last night. Not much, just an inch or so, inch and a half, 2 inches maybe. But kind of cold, kind of damp.
Yeah.
Not fun. I'm actually home for 5 days.
Well, that's good. Good.
And I did something today that I have not done in a long time, probably 2 months. I have a little list of my things I need to do. And I actually flew my drone today. First,
Wow.
I touched it since August in Alaska. And then I took a nap on the couch.
Wow.
That was my day. Yeah. Very profitable.
Where'd you fly the drone?
Just out in my front yard just to see if I could still remember how to fly it.
Oh, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yeah. But you know what I would like to do someday? I'd like to be with someone that has an FPV to see if I got what it takes to fly one. Because
Well, next time, if you invite me up there next time, when the fish are biting,
yeah,
I'll bring my little tiny hawk with me.
yeah, I'd like
Give
to.
you
'Cause I'd rather fly something. I'd be afraid of crashing it, but just to see if I got what it takes, I'd rather not invest a lot of money into one. And okay, I'm a total retard and I don't know how to fly one of these.
Well, you would be able to fly it. It just takes a lot of practice, and just trying one out might discourage you because it's not something you're just going to pick up and start flying right away. It takes a lot of getting used to.
What is so different on the controls versus a regular?
Well, there's two aspects to it. Flying the quad has different modes in FPV. You have stabilized mode, which is similar to a Mavic, similar to a camera drone.
That would
Controls pretty much the same thing,
right.
Except the throttle does not have a center detent, a spring center. The throttle is loose from bottom to top, just like an RC airplane is. So you have to constantly work the throttle to maintain your altitude. There's no altitude hold or anything on it, and that's the stabilized, either angle or horizon mode. When you throw it into ArtCO mode, you have no stabilization whatsoever. You're controlling the pitch, the pitch up and down, the roll and the yaw with the same sticks that you have on the Mavic.
Right.
It's just if you push forward on the stick, and the quad will start to put the nose down. But if you don't let the stick back to the center, the quad will keep going, and it'll eventually roll all the way over. So you have to establish bank, establish pitch, and then center the stick. And then when you want to level off, you have to pull the stick back.
Right.
And that's like flying an RC airplane, same way. In an RC airplane, you have to constantly fly the thing and constantly make corrections to it.
Like in a helicopter where you increase or reduce power, you're constantly doing pedal corrections.
Same thing, and the same thing with the stick in the helicopter. If you let go of the stick, it just doesn't all of a sudden go into auto hover.
Yeah.
If you're cranked over in a bank and let go of the stick, the helicopter probably stay in that bank until you level it off by pushing the stick back the other way.
Right.
That's the first thing you learn, and it's not I mean, everybody's doing it. It's just a matter of getting the muscle memory and reaction. The
Mhm.
thing, since I'd flown RC all my life, that part of it was easy for me. The hard part for me was learning to interpret the information that I was getting through the goggles.
Mhm.
It's a different perspective than flying an RC airplane. And you think, well, I'm in the airplane. It's like being in the airplane. So if I can fly an airplane, I can fly this. But you don't have any of the other sensations to go along with it. You don't have your inner ear telling you you're leaning one way or the other. You don't feel the vibration. You don't feel the motion. You have to learn to just take the visual cues. And that's what took me the longest to get used to. What do you think, Art? Same thing with you?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like driving, except you're up in the air and you got to deal with, instead of right and left and forwards and backwards, you're dealing with up and down and all different directions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like Mitch, like I can't say, but in my previous life, place I used to work, um, we had an incident with one of our competitions. They had a pilot get very sick, like in mid-flight, and had to land the helicopter like instantly. And apparently, 30 seconds later, he was unconscious after they got in the ground. So, long story
Oh,
short, we had a helicopter that had dual controls, and so off the record, we were depending on the pilot and if he trusted you or not, whether you got stick time. And so I started to learn a lot. I flew for a couple of years, um, and you know that thing you and then you almost got a like automatic memory. Like when they wouldn't actually let us land or take off, but when we would start to come into the hospital, you know, you automatically cyclic forward, start to descend, reduce power, right pedal, you know,
Yeah.
and he basically called it like walking the dog, is what the one guy used to teach me about how to do that. I used to be able to, it took me a while, but I finally learned how to hover that damn thing. Boy, that was the hardest thing.
It is. It's hard. It is hard to hover.
Mhm.
I can fly. I'm a pilot, and although I never got a helicopter rating, I did take lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I never finished the rating because it was just going to be too expensive to
Yeah, it's
fly a
that deep.
helicopter or to own a
Yeah.
helicopter. The insurance alone will kill you. So, but
Yeah.
I did learn how to. I did solo one, and I did learn how to fly them. And when you first try to hover, you figure, this is impossible. You know, how the hell can anybody do this? And then after you learn it, and you're not thinking about it, you're just doing it.
Yeah.
You say to
Mhm.
yourself, how could there have ever been a time when this wasn't easy? You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
and that's the
Yep.
same thing. That's the same thing with FPV. You'll start off and you'll say, "This is crazy. Nobody could ever do this." And then you keep at it, and then all of a sudden you'll be flying like you were born that way, and
Mhm.
you'll say, "How the hell could? Why was this so hard to learn?" There's
Yeah.
nothing
Mhm.
to it. Like anything else, you just have to do it. But you would have no problem doing it. And by the way, it's not illegal for you to fly a helicopter if there's a licensed pilot next to you.
No, I was always led to believe you don't have a license, you don't touch the controls, but
Well, I don't think that's now. Maybe the guy has to be a flight instructor, but basically, same thing like a drone pilot. You if you have a 107 and you are the pilot in command, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who's flying the drone, as long as there is a 107 holder who's in charge of the whole operation. And I think
and
that's pretty much true for any aircraft. I used to take people up with me, let them fly all the time. Never thought anything of it because I'm the pilot. I'm there. Any problems? It's my airplane. I'm responsible. I just take the controls over.
yeah.
So I don't think you broke any laws. The insurance company might not be too happy about it.
I never, you know,
That's
when I left Pennsylvania, um, I left a very small hospital, single helicopter program, and then I went to a multi 45 state corporation. And I'm like, oh, I'll never touch the controls again. But place I worked, Had a super, super cool pilot. We were on a military base, and the contract that we had, the paramedics, the nurses, and the pilots all had to meet certain certifications and years of experience. But the pilots had to fly so many hours a month. So if we weren't out on missions and they were running short on hours for the month, we would go out on a so-called maintenance flight. And we would go out. This one pilot, he taught me so much. He would teach me like situational awareness, and like he would actually go up to like 5,000 feet, tell me to put my head down on my chin, close my eyes, and he would sit there and swoop like this, back and forth. All right, open up your eyes, take the controls. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
just rolling this thing out.
that's a when I was flight instructing, we called that recovery from unusual attitudes.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
And that was solely for the purpose of convincing somebody that they can't trust what their brain is telling them about the attitude of the airplane. You come out of one of those things where you're going up and down and left and right and all that stuff under the hood where you can't see what's happening, and you would swear you were upside down or banked way over to the right in reality. And what we used to do is we used to mix them up really good, and then we level the thing off just straight and level, perfectly straight and level. And they take the hood off, and they couldn't believe it and would still try correcting because their inner ear was telling them they weren't straight and level, even though they were absolutely straight and level.
I had a pilot yell at me once. We were out at Fort Indian Town Gap up in near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and he was a military pilot, full time, and he worked with us part time. But we were going up through the Lehigh Valley, and he was swooping, doing like an airwolf type thing, riding the river and swooping up through the river. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Ron, get off my controls." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Straighten up and get off my." I was leaning way to the right, thinking I was straight up. I had spatial disorientation. And I said, "I am straight." He goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "Look at the artificial horizon." I'm like, "Oh, crap."
Yeah, and it's especially tough when you're IFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Especially tough when your brain is telling you one thing and the instruments are telling you something else.
Another. Yeah, exactly.
And it takes a while, but you eventually learn to trust what your eyes tell you. These
he
days,
said that happened to him. He was in Hawaiian Islands, and he was flying from one island to another, and he had spatial disorientation. He was complete IFR, and same thing. He had a controller on the horn with him, and it's like, trust your eyes, trust your instruments. And same thing. He thought he was, one way. He looked at the artificial horizon and was like, "Oh, crap," So he trusted his instrument, and he was able to land it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Agent K asked me a question here in the chat. I'll try to answer.
Yeah.
He says, does the quad need to be registered as a commercial quad in the 107 pilot's name? Okay. And was that when I explained that a 107 pilot could be pilot in command and anybody around there? Yeah, the quad. I don't even think the quad has to be registered in his name. I think the quad has to be registered would have to be registered because that's a registration rule. But I don't think the regulations say anything about the fact that the quad has to be registered to the pilot in command. Because, for example, there's no law that says you can't loan me your quad, Ron, to go out and do a commercial shoot, as long as I got a 107.
That's right.
Now it's my responsibility probably that the quad is registered, but I don't think I don't remember. That's an interesting question. I don't remember reading anything that said the quad has to be registered to the pilot in
Well,
command of whatever
Night,
particular operation.
Night Train says the quad is registered to the pilot under 107.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't fly some. It doesn't say you can't
Yeah,
fly
that's true.
somebody
That's
else's quad. And you're talking here. You're talking about a camera drone. When you're talking about FPV,
hmm
and you're not doing any commercial or even a camera drone, you're not doing any commercial operations whatsoever. Uh, you can fly it as for recreational purposes, and this is an area that's always puzzled me, and it's a question that I don't know if anybody can give you a straight answer on. But here's the deal: if I fly my quads, my FPV quads, for recreational purposes only, and I have one of those quads registered, if I didn't have a 107, I could use that one registration number on every RC airplane and quad I have. Because as a recreational pilot, you're only required to register once, one
Mm.
aircraft, and you can use that number on all of them. Now, as a 107 pilot, and if I use these things commercially, I'm required to register each individual aircraft, pay $5 and get a separate number for
hmm
that. But what if I'm a 107 pilot who does 95% or 99% of his flying recreationally? Can I just use the number from one quad that I registered recreationally? Or does the fact that I have a 107 require me to pay $5 for every single quad? That's an interesting question. I've never heard a definitive answer on that.
That is a good question. Yeah. Yep.
Hello, Brad Alston and Fly Zone Drone Quadcopters. Welcome to the show.
You got a nice crowd here
Yeah.
tonight. Everybody's looking for Lloyd. Got stuck with us.
Yep.
So I'm assuming Lloyd or not Lloyd. Mitch, your FPV flying. See, I'm a photography guy, and I guess your FPV flying is all. I like the cinematic effects that you get with that, but it's all about what type of camera you put on that FPV drone. And can that drone handle the camera that you want to put on it?
Well, most of the 5 inches can handle a GoPro easily.
Okay.
And the footage you get out of a GoPro is terrific. Or one of the Insta360 type, the Insta
I like
R1.
this.
Yeah, you can, they'll handle a GoPro,
Mhm.
but you can get beautiful footage right off the DJI system.
Yeah, that's right.
Which looks great unless, it's 1080p, but if you fly smooth, any little stabilization you need, you can do in post if you really have to. And it depends on the type of job you're having. If you want to do a commercial shoot with it, I haven't done any commercial shoots with FPV drones. I fly FPV drones just for fun. But the fact that I'm showing this footage on my YouTube channel, which happens to be monetized legally, makes it my FPV flying commercial use.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
I have taken the safe route, and for all except the latest FPV drone that I built, I register all of them. For $5, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just register the stupid thing and register it as a self-built quad. Now, I suppose if I decommission one of those quads that's self-built, not serial numbered, not identified by a manufacturer, I probably could take the number from that one and stick it on a newer one.
Right.
But if I have 15 quads, let's say, that are over 250 grams, and I have 15 registrations with the FAA, I can't imagine them ever coming after me for flying an unregistered quad commercially when
Right.
all
That's
I'm
true.
flying for is fun.
Hey, refresh my memory, guys. Art and Mitch and anybody in the chat. Was it the Spark? I'm trying to remember. Was the one you could put like in a airplane mode and fly it?
The Mavic, the original Mavic Pro, had a mode that you could put it in, which would maintain when you press the C1 button on the bottom, if I remember correctly, it would maintain its forward. They call it the FPV mode, but it wasn't just a gimbal mode. You could put the goggles on and hit that button, and it would maintain its forward speed of whatever it was. And I don't think I've seen that in any of the other ones. Maybe.
Does anybody remember? Was it the Spark as well? I could have sworn, because I had a Spark for a short period of time, and I sold it. I'm wondering if it had. I'm trying to remember which one it had.
The only problem with flying a camera drone, trying to fly a camera drone like an FPV drone, is the spring center on the throttle stick.
Mm-hmm.
With a camera, you don't think of that left stick as a throttle when you're flying a camera drone. You think of it as an elevator, as altitude. Push the stick forward, drone goes up. Pull the stick back, drone goes down.
Right.
That's what happens when you, but you don't use it like a throttle. You're not constantly on it, making minute, tiny little adjustments 10 times a second as you're flying under trees and things like that. And that would be hard to fly FPV on a quad that had a spring center detent on the throttle. And those, you can't take them out of stabilized mode. A camera drone. They're all, whether they have GPS position hold or not, doesn't matter. The best you can do is ADI mode, which is.
I was going to say you had to put it in. You had to take it out of GPS mode, didn't you?
Yeah, but then you're in ADI mode, which is which is attitude hold, which is fully stabilized. It's just going to drift around with the breeze. It's not going to hold its position. You're in ADI mode, which is attitude hold. Oh, somebody's got their loudspeaker.
Yeah, that's Jeff. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Yeah. Hey.
All right, so I figured I would jump in here just for a few minutes because you guys are asking some FAA questions, and I think I can help you out. So the key element that you need to understand for any drone being used in a Part 107 format is if it's being used in furtherance of a business, period. It doesn't matter what, whether the drone is something you just used for hobbyists or whatever. If for any reason whatsoever in the life of that drone, you intend to use it in furtherance of a business, you have to register it. If you are caught flying an unregistered drone in furtherance of a business, then you are in violation of the Part 107 rules.
Yeah, that's why I registered my quads, because I figured the fact that I got a YouTube channel that's monetized, even though I make about 8 cents a week on it, legally, it's still a business.
That's the way that it works. It's all in furtherance of a business. That's the key words that you have to remember in regards to Part 107. So if you have 25 drones and there's one that you use for your business and there's one that you fly to make money with, then yeah, you just need to register that one and the other ones don't have to be registered. But if for any reason whatsoever that drone crashes and you grab one of the other drones to go and fly with it so you continue making money, you now have to register that drone so that it is being used in furtherance of a business. And that's the only way the FAA looks at it right now for the Part 107. So also that tag or that ID is unique to that particular drone. So taking that ID and putting it on another drone, if for any reason whatsoever the FAA ever audits you and asks, hey, what's the serial number and the make and model of this drone, and it doesn't match their records for that particular ID, that's also a violation.
Well, keep in mind, Jeff, that a self-built FPV quad is identified to the FAA only as a self-built, no serial number quad. There's no unique identifier on an FPV quad. Even when you register, you just basically put, self-built, and there is no serial number. There's really no manufacturer involved. So there is no way to differentiate between. You don't even have to say what size it is. You just tell it it's a self-built quad.
Okay. Well, in that case, that is the one loophole or gray area that you have. Now, obviously, you want to be honest with the FAA, with what you do. But so I will never tell anybody, hey, just stick it on whatever you want, But if you want to be legitimate, if you want to do it right, you want to follow the rules, register your drone. Each individual drone that is going to be used specifically with the terminology in furtherance of a business.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're absolutely right. The question comes in some of the fine points of differentiating recreational use and business use, and whether if you have a 107, whether you can still have, say, 10 quads for recreational use without having them all individually registered, because there's no chance that you're ever going to use them in furtherance of a business. They're for fun, they're your hobby.
Yeah, that's the point. Because as a Part 107 pilot, you are still a hobbyist. There are still going to be days that you're going to take that 107 registered drone and you're going to run out to the lake and just play with it, or you're going to go to a friend's house to show it off, etc., and you're going to put it in the air. And that's flying it as a hobby. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if you go back and look at Ken's channel, he even talked about the fact that you can be a hobbyist and be a Part 107 pilot, right? The only differentiation is that the activity that you are doing, whatever it is, if it is in furtherance of a business or a transaction, then you have to be 107 certified to perform that flight. So you can have 100 drones and only use 2 of them for Part 107 flights, right? And the other drones don't have to be registered. You can register them as a hobbyist and use your single tag on all of them.
Yeah.
And the true drones that you have that are 107 drones, if you want to fly them as a hobbyist, you can just go out and fly under hobbyist rules as long as you're not being paid money for it, right? And on the flip side, if one of those 25 drones suddenly becomes something that you want to use for business, then you have to go to the FAA and say, I'm going to register this drone as a Part 107 drone, and I'll be using it in furtherance of a business. So it works both ways, but they're not gonna penalize you unless you are out there making money with an unregistered drone. That's the thing that they're specifically wanting to avoid. So, and as long as you meet those guidelines, then you'll be okay.
Now, suppose I take one of my quads out that is not registered, one of my quads for a fun flight, and the flight was my flight of a lifetime, and I said, I'm going to put this flight on YouTube. If I don't monetize that video, but even though my channel's monetized, if I don't monetize that video, then that's not for furtherance of a business. Or is it furtherance of a business because I'm promoting my YouTube channel? There's
your channel is monetized.
And see, the thing is that
silly. It's so
the
silly.
FAA. Well, let's back up though. The FAA has made it perfectly clear in several conversations that I have read in different stories that it is not their intention to go and micromanage every single video that shows up on YouTube. Okay. What they're looking for is they're looking for the people that are serious abusers, okay, that are doing this repetitively over and over, that are doing things that are reckless or that are flying in places that they shouldn't be flying. Casey Neistat and his New York.
No, I agree. I understand.
That he was always doing, right? But the thing is that if you are making thousands of dollars with your drone, and it's not registered and you're not following the rules, then the FAA is going to take interest in that. And not to mention the fact, in this community, if somebody else out there finds out that you're making thousands of dollars with your drone and you're not registered, they're going to let people know.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to follow the rules. We want to follow the rules. We want others to follow the rules. We have to self-police in some fashion. And admittedly, I don't believe that that is something that we need to be running around scoping out and looking for, people doing bad things. But every so often it does come to our attention.
Throwing you.
There's somebody that it always comes to our attention that there is somebody out there flaunting the rules. There is always somebody that we will watch fly in a way that is just not, it makes all of us look bad. And we'll call them on it, and we'll explain to them, and I've read the chats in the comment sections on videos that people have found, and there'll be like one or two people that are, write these huge flaming articles about, how you're an idiot and stupid and blah, blah, blah. But then after that, there'll be about 30 notifications of people saying, this is how you can do it better. This is how you should have followed the rules. These are the options that you can take to make sure that you don't do this wrong in the future. And they actually provide positive reinforcement to help that person learn to follow the rules. So that self-policing comes with the rationalization that we want to promote this hobby. We want to make people safe, and we want to make people feel inclusive. So somebody makes a mistake, cut them some slack, give them some help, give them some advice. They make a mistake 15 times, then yell at them. But
question for you. I think the message you're trying to portray, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're an individual with, let's say 3, 4, 5 drones, and use one exclusively for 107, are you trying to, again, this is what I'm don't be a cheapskate. If you have 3 other drones, go ahead and register them as a 107 drone. Spend what, 15, 20 bucks?
$5.
Safe about it?
$5.
$5.
$5 a drone, yeah.
I think that's the message Jeff is trying to portray here is, if you have 500 drones or 100 drones or whatever, most people have probably 10 or less.
Yep.
Spend the extra 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, and save your butt. Just register them as a 107 drone.
But also think about it on the flip side, okay? I have quite a few drones, right, that I have access to. And there are a few drones that I would use to make money with if I was doing Part 107 flights.
Right.
And so I would register, the Heron Bird, for instance, and I would register 1 or 2 of the Mavic Pros, for instance. But other drones that I know I would never put in that situation, drones that either by I don't feel that they would be safe enough to fly in that environment, or that they were designed for flying in that environment. The Chris Rollins drone, I love it to death. Fixed it, flew it. It works. It has its quirks. I would not use it as a commercial drone, right, because there would be a risk using it in that fashion. It's not 100%, and I would never put that drone in a position where I would be trying to make money with it, or that it could be put in a risky scenario. Whereas, the Heron Bird is 100%. It's a solid drone. It works perfectly. And the 2 Mavics that I got are the Mavics that I got from Mike Roche. Those are both 100% drones. I would use those for 107. But once I do the kit drone, for instance, that Art sent me, which I still have to do.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I know. Once I do the kit drone, that is a modified, customized drone. I would never use that for Part 107 work. It is, it's a gimmick. It's more of a hobbyist thing. My Phantom 3, for instance, I know that drone is exactly the way it was when it came from the manufacturer. It has never crashed. It's never been in any kind of accidents. It's 100% perfect. I could use it for 107. There's no reason why I shouldn't use it for 107. But it is a dated drone, and it doesn't have a lot of the safety features that some of the other advanced drones have. So there is an implied risk to that. I still use it for hobbyist work all the time. And I love using it for hobbyist work all the time. But I have a little FPV quad that never use that for 107 work ever. You know, I'm that bad at FPV. You know, I can attest that my tree in the front yard shifts to one side every time I bring that drone out. So
I didn't know you were flying FPV.
I claim the fifth.
Ah,
I won't define what I do with that drone as flying. I will
practice,
define what I do with that drone as controlled chaos.
practice.
Yeah, well, it's controlled chaos. I'm 51. I'm a slow flying, person. I like my camera drones. I like putting them up and viewing the world versus trying to avoid it at high speed. So, but anyway, I'm gonna hop off. I just wanted to answer y'all's questions and give you guys some feedback, give you something to chew on.
Yeah, thanks for
Thanks for popping in, Jeff.
Got a new job?
Yes, after
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, congrats.
After over 400 resumes and months and months and months of getting letters telling me that they really like me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It was very nice to finally hear 7 months later that somebody was interested in hiring me. So I'm very excited about this new opportunity.
Jeff?
It's critical incident management work for a company called Epic. So
you work from home? You have to move or relocate?
No, it's remote work. I do it from here, and even then, I've also verified the schedule isn't going to compete or conflict with TNL, so I'll still be able to continue doing the TNL work.
Good deal.
Yeah, all in all, it's a very good job. It's a good position. It's a great opportunity, and it's a place that I can set some roots.
Yeah,
Glad to hear it.
Man.
Glad to hear it, man.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, you guys have yourself a fabulous evening, and as always, chime in not only to Art's show, but come visit us on TNL on Thursdays.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Bye.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
All right, I want to say hello to Harley FPV, Rigor Mortis, Phantom Hodges Drones, Brad Alston, welcome to the show. Sunrise Water Media. Cool. Well, I got a really good group tonight. I got up over 32 people. Yeah.
I'm glad Jeff came in. I think the message he tried to portray was, most people have there are a few exceptional, have 10, 15 drones, but for the most part, people have 3, 4, 5 drones. You know what? Spend the extra 10, 15, $20 a year and just
Not even a year. It's one time.
It's one time.
$5.
Yeah.
Register drone for $5. That's it. You don't have to
register the darn thing, spend the money, but be legal, be safe, and keep yourself in check, so you don't have a problem. Because I'll tell you what, I actually know somebody who did a major violation. And I'll tell you, the fines from the FAA, they're not pretty.
Oh, yeah.
They're not pretty.
Yeah, usually they'll give you a warning if it's not anything like you flew it, onto the main runway at O'Hare and landed in front of a 747. If it's anything just a petty violation, you're gonna get a warning from the FAA first.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good about that, unless you're really a moron. In that case, you deserve to get it.
But no, that was
hello, Jimmy J. I think that's the first time he's been in this channel. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hey, Art. You may have something here. If you could get rid of Lloyd, just get rid of him. Take over this spot. You'd have a hell of a show. You could build those watch hours in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a good, informative show, Art. We all
thank you.
Kind of got to learn some things, and and I like shows like this, Art, where everybody gives their input. People with knowledge come in and tell us things, teach us things. This is what this is about. I've
Right.
kind of backed out of YouTube for a while. This is the first I've been in a couple months. There's been a lot of backstabbing, fighting, stuff going on over the last 2-3 months. And granted, I've been kind of busy, but I kind of backed out for a reason. And
Right.
and I'm hoping to see more stuff like this, like tonight.
Right.
So, I like your show tonight. I like that, we pick a subject, we're learning about it, we're all learning and having input and stuff. I like that. So for whatever it's worth,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
yeah.
Want to say hello to Lloyd. Lloyd's in the.
Lloyd,
Oh, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Welcome
Come on
So
in.
you heard
welcome
that,
to your
Mitch.
show. Welcome to your show, Lloyd.
come on in and say
Rick
hello,
Albert.
Lloyd.
Rick Halber, I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Yeah. How is Mr. Rick?
Well, he's home,
Yep.
so I imagine he's doing better than he was when he went in.
Oh, Lloyd just got home.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool, cool, cool.
Lloyd, come join us. Rick, come
We
join
only
us.
got about 4 more minutes before you got to turn it over to Drone Nation, right, Art?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well.
Time goes quick.
Yeah, it was an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those hour shows go by like
Yeah.
my
yeah.
Saturday shows. I'm like, oh, holy crap! It's 2.5, 3 hours. I'm like, oh man.
Well, Art, here's a question for you.
Okay.
This is kind of more towards your Sunday show, but what's your prediction on how things are going to turn out in the next couple weeks?
How much time do you have, Ron?
Yeah.
We could go off YouTube and
How much time?
do the show. Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting 2 weeks with all this stuff coming out about Biden and about Hunter
Yep.
Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the polls are all wrong. The only 2 polls to watch for are Trafalgar, and they show Trump pulling ahead in the Rust Belt and in Florida.
Yeah.
And Arizona's looking good for Trump. And now it's looking like Colorado is in play now. Now it's
Should
gone
be.
from blue to light blue,
It should-
leaning
I don't
Democrat.
want to
So
insult anybody. I have acquaintances that are liberals, and some of them are pretty smart people, but I consider them morons. Unfortunately, and I can't be close friends with them because I have no respect for their intelligence. And I, not to insult anybody who happens to lean that way, but I simply can't believe that this country has a majority of morons in it. So I'm kind of optimistic about this election. I think it's going to be a rout. That's my opinion.
Steve Carpenter just says they've got a second laptop of Biden.
Oh yeah, they got another one.
Oh, geez. Wow.
They got it from Ukraine. The Ukrainians turned it over. Or they
Oh,
found it.
boy.
And it has more emails, 22,000 emails on it.
Jeez. Oh, man. Well, if you look at the map that I posted on my Facebook page, it has Trump with 330 electoral votes and Biden with 208. So I think Trump's going to do as good as he did last time or better.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean they're going to accept the results. And for the next 4 years, they're going to continue to try to delegitimize them.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's just this country is just way over divided, unfortunately, and it's being stoked every day by the media and everybody else.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Mitch.
And until you solve those problems, until you can get the bias out of all the social media companies and the crap that they're pulling right now. I seriously thought the other day of deleting my YouTube channel, doing away with every bit of social media, because there's nothing else that we can do. And the only reason I didn't do it, I have a Facebook account, but I never use it. I have a Twitter account.
Yeah, we know.
But the fact that when I look at my YouTube news feed, I still see a slew of conservative stuff. I see all the Fox News stuff. I see Dan Bongino. And as long as that stuff keeps showing up in my feed, I'll stick with Google. But the minute that they start censoring those things from me is the day that I have to say adios to being a YouTube content creator. I just can't support or don't want to condone the activities of the censorship that they're doing these days. It's absolutely incredible. But the good news is they've been caught red-handed at it now. There's nobody can say to me, oh, the media isn't biased, or Zuckerberg isn't biased, or Twitter is, I want to see him cancel Donald Trump's account on Twitter. You'll see a revolution. Anyway, that's my say. There you go.
Guys, I don't want to hold you up. I know, was it Drone Nation is on next? And
yeah. So,
Art, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Ron and Mitch. Good seeing you again. And Indigo Rhino, he just got in. So
never.
And then Chris Hope just got in a few minutes ago.
Chris Hope. Hi, Chris. All right, I'm going to bug out, Art, and let you close the show. Ron, good to see you. Good to see you.
All right, Mitch, good to see you.
See you tomorrow night on Jim's show.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, guys.
Take care, Mitch.
All right. Good night now.
Good night, Ron. Thanks for coming. All right. Well, that was a great show. We've got a good crowd. I just want to thank all you guys in the chat. Let's see. Rick Halbert, Lloyd Mendenhall, Jody, Chris, Fly Zone Drone Quadcopters, Rigor Mortis, Robert Glazer, Jimmy Mack, or Steve Mack, Jimmy J, Indigo Rhino, Steve Carpenter, and Brad Alston, and Sunrise Water Media, and the rest. Thank you all for coming to the show. Have a great week, and who knows, I might do another live stream sometime during the week. So have a good night, and catch you next time. Keep them flying. Bye-bye.